this is Verity from Expert Agent and welcome to your video training, and on this video we are looking at Expert Negotiator. So this module is designed to help existing Expert Agent users in a negotiator style role to ensure they know how to use the system for the tasks that are most important to them. So on this video we'll be looking at preparing for the day, recapping the valuation process, when you're out of the office, when you get back, and managing call lists. So what we'll look at first is preparing for the day, which covers a recap of the homepage, staff profile, dashboards and right-hand toolbar, and your grids. Lots of expert agents, when they first join, is set up the system, but as their job role changes and the staff members change and things like that, you will need to edit it, continue editing it to make sure that it is working for you and that you can really prove your user experience if you do make sure that you are editing this as and when you need to. So your homepage is usually the first page that you see when you log into Expert Agent. If it isn't, you can click on the Expert Agent logo in the top left-hand corner and that will take you to your homepage. The idea of the homepage is that it should give you all the information that you need in order to plan your day. So if you are somebody that tends to do a lot of appointments, you need it to show those. If you are somebody that tends to spend more time in the office on the phone, then you need quick links and tasks and so on. By default, the homepage is with these 5 pods here. Now, obviously, if you are just in lettings, you won't need things like the offers and the potential valuation alerts. If you are in just sales, then you might need a couple more. If you're in lettings, you'll need things like the maintenance jobs and the tenancies and things like that. So you will need to set up your homepage so that it works with you. So to set up your homepage, you need to go to Tools in the top menu and select My Profile. We'll look at this profile further in a minute, but you then need to go to Configure Homepage down at the bottom. As I said, by default, the first 5 will be ticked, so you need to untick the ones that you don't wish to use and tick the ones that you do need to use. So maybe having a look at some applicant statistics, some property statistics. Maybe let's say, for example, we are both sales and lettings, so we'll have a look at some landlord quick links. We've got a pod for viewings already, so we won't need to have a look at any of the viewings, but we'll have a look at some of our office statistics and tenancies and maintenance jobs. So quite a lot going on our homepage, but you can minimize the pods that I'll show you in a minute. If you want to reset your homepage to the default 6, you press reset your homepage or save, and save on this one. And then close. Now your new pods will be sitting on top of the other in the top left hand corner, and you need to hover over the blue bar to view them, to pull them across. So we're going to put those over there. So we're going to close these down as well. So we're going to close down the offers there and the tenancy stats. And the office stats, actually we'll move those up to there together. Maintenance will close down and landlords. So the idea of the homepage is when you first come in the morning, you can see what appointments you've got, what viewings you've got, what tasks you've got. You've also got some property statistics. So if you've been out of the office for a while, you can then sort of look at your property statistics and see what's been going on whilst you've been out of the office as well. So setting up your homepage is really, really important to get the system to work properly for you. So moving on to your staff profile summarizes all of your individual staff details, and some of your staff individual settings can be controlled from here as well. So hovering over Tools and selecting My Profile, it is important that your staff details are kept up to date so that your details are being sent out correctly when you're contacting customers, so on your outputs and your emails and your text messages and things like that. So as your job role changes, as it changes throughout the company, you need to make sure that you are changing your staff profile to reflect that. So what you've got here are your contact details, and then you've got things like your job title, the reply email address, and your job description. You can't change your username from here, but you can change your password if you need to. Obviously, if you do need to get your username changed, you will need to talk to one of the support team. A couple of other things to mention here are things like the subscribe to newsletter and show right hand toolbar. So subscribe to newsletter relates to the Expert Agent newsletter that contains useful and important information on new enhancements, property industry news and general Expert Agent news. The show right toolbar is an incredibly useful tool. It's an extended menu option that can be displayed on the right hand side of your screen, but only if this box is selected. We will explain this more in further detail later on in the video. You've also got here send viewing SMS reminders and valuation SMS reminders. Now, ticking these options will send you a reminder text 20 minutes before each viewing, but you do need to make sure that if you do have those ticked, you need to speak to your boss or your super user about having those turned on, as it does eat into your text credits. At this point, you can also set how many columns you're seeing in your daily diary, your default appointment length, and your diary start hour and end hour. And also add in images here as well, which you can set to be showing on your outputs. So all of your text messages and emails and letters that you send from Expert Agent will have an image of yourself and your signature if you want them to. Another thing to go through at this point is the option of configuring your team. Now, this is something we do cover in the introductory training, and it relates to the diary. It's the option to have a group of people set up whose diaries you would frequently need to look at alongside each other, so that you can quickly do this from the diary whenever you need. It is likely, though, that you will need to amend this from time to time as staff changes occur. To do this, you need to click on the Configure My Team button. And then you've got your selected negotiator columns, which potentially you'll need to remove somebody from. So let's say training 3 is left. So we select them and use the single arrow pointing to the left. To add in a new member, you select them from the unselected negotiator column and use the single arrow pointing to the right. If you've had a bit of a mix around in the office and you now work more closely with training 13, you can move them up so they are sitting next to you in the diary, select them and use the up icon. Close out of that one and press save, and you will need to check that from time to time when changes to your own job role occur and changes to staff members occur, but you've successfully edited your staff profile and your team as well. So moving on to dashboards then. So dashboards are a great way of finding records as well as getting a snapshot of activity and information regarding the area of Expert Agent that you're looking at. All main areas of Expert Agent have a dashboard: applicants, landlords, properties, viewings, tenancies, offers, and maintenance. So to select a dashboard, you hover over the area that you're looking for and select the dashboard option from the drop down. And all dashboards look a little bit like this. You've got your quick find box in the top right. It will show you up to 50 records and search both active and inactive applicants on the applicant dashboard. You've got your navigation history, and this will show you up to 20 records that you've recently been working on. And this does supplement the navigation history in the top menu, which will show you 20 records of all aspects of Expert Agent. You've got the applicant quick statistics, which will show you office or personal statistics from the first of each month. And then you've got the all-important applicant quick links. These are configurable and you allow you to manage your data more effectively, spotting issues quickly, identifying when the work needs doing, and so on. The only thing to configure on each dashboard is the quick links section, and the idea with quick links is they should flag up important information, whether it's people that need a call, valuations that need chasing up, or so on. So you choose the relevant quick links based on your job role. Again, as your job role changes, you may need to update your quick links. So to edit your quick links, you use the cog icon on the quick links pod, and that will open up a list of all available quick links from the system. From the applicant side of things, the first option you have is the saved selections. These are quick links that you've created yourself by applying filters to your grid and saving the selection to a link. We'll look at doing that later on as well, once we look at the grids. So you tick the ones you want to show. Don't tick the ones you don't need to show, but as I said, as your job role changes, you may need to be viewing different quick links. There are multiple versions of each quick link. You've got the My version, an Office version, and lower down you'll then start having the group versions as well. The My versions include your own properties and applicants, etc. The Office includes data for your office as a whole, and group relates to multi-branch businesses who share data. So you tick the ones you want to be showing and press the Save button. The quick links that you've got will be displaying on the quick links pod of your homepage if you've got that quick links pod displaying on your homepage as well. So if you ever want to if you ever want to edit what links are in one of the quick links pod on your homepage, you need to go to the relevant dashboard and edit the selection from there. Do bear in mind that you will need to set up all dashboards, not just one. And in the example that we've just done, we looked at the applicant dashboard, obviously, but you will need to look at the property dashboard, the viewings dashboard, the offers dashboard, and etc. So as I said, to access any dashboard, you hover over the relevant section and select the dashboard option from the drop down. And then again, click the cog icon and set up your quick links for your property dashboard. So the right-hand toolbar then is a brilliant tool for busy negotiators to use to quickly access important information. It's somewhere you can have saved selections and quick links relating to all areas of Expert Agent in one place, so property links alongside applicant links, for example. The right-hand toolbar is set up separately from your dashboard, so you can have a different selection of quick links, and the idea is to have your most important links for each section on the right toolbar and then go into more detail for your individual dashboards. So if you've got that tick box ticked on your staff profile, the Enable Right toolbar, you will have a blue box with a white arrow in the top right hand corner, which will go pink when you hover over it. When you've got the hand icon, you can click that to open it up and it will show your right toolbar. You edit the right toolbar in much the same way as editing quick links on your dashboard. You simply click the edit option and then tick which ones you want to show and then press save. To close the right hand toolbar, you press that blue box with the arrow in it again. So we've now covered dashboards, so we're going to move on to grids. So grids are a great way of searching, filtering and sorting and reporting on multiple records. And grids are accessed from the top menu in each option and selecting grid. Each grid has three key sections to it. You've got the information panel at the top, which closes or stays open depending on what your screen resolution is, but you can always open it by clicking the white down arrow and then that will stay open. So the dynamic information panel, which changes depending on which applicant you are hovering over or which property you're hovering over, depending on what grid you're on. So the information panel at the top, the main body of the grid below showing you 10 records to a page. You select different pages by going to the different page numbers at the bottom, and you've got the action menu. Now this action menu is available from all grids and all forms, available by right clicking on your mouse, also from clicking on the white list icon in the right hand side of your information panel, and it will show you all relevant workflows associated with, for example, the applicant grid. If you're on a form, it will show you the relevant workflows associated with that form. The only thing to really configure in your grids is the columns. By default, you will have all the columns showing, when in reality, you will probably only need a selection of them. So if you right click on the grid or open up your action menu, you've got the option there to choose columns. When selecting and ordering columns, it's important to think about what you'll be using the grids for most commonly. Are you likely to be searching for applicants with a particular budget or properties with a certain status? And then it's a good idea to make sure the columns that you'll think you'll use frequently are high up on the list, meaning they're close to the left-hand side of the column when you're looking at the grid. So for example, on an applicant side of things, you might need to think about more likely things like the price range that they've got. So you've got three options for price range: from, max price and up to. So their max price is the price that they've said they will go up to. From and up to are the price ranges that Expert Agents set for them. So you might need to think about pulling all of those up. So select which one you want to show and use the up arrow to move them up in the grid. So we'll get rid of the active and we'll move title up there as well so we know what applicant we're looking at. I'll move that down. And then we'll use max price and up to. Save once you've done that. Moving them up in that page will move them to the left, moving them down will move them to the right. So what we've got now is, if we scroll along a little bit, we've got the price ranges that we need on the grid as well. Another thing that you need to set up from your grids, if you like to use them, are your saved selections, so your personalized quick links. Saved selections are a great way of keeping an eye on more specific selection of data. For example, properties on the market for over 250,000, for example, or commercial applicants looking for offices. It's likely you will need to create a number of saved selections, which is great. And the way to do this is to filter on your grid. So let's say, for example, we're going to filter on active sales applicants looking for a minimum budget of 400,000. So in the department, if you click into the department, untick all and tick sales. That will give you just your sales applicants. There is also an active column, which we're going to go scroll down and find now. I think we actually unticked it. So let's right click, choose columns, tick active again. Get it in the right place. So this is what you'll be doing each time you're using your grid. You might think, oh, actually, I do need the active column now. So go back and turn it on. So we're still looking at our sales applicants. We'll go on to our active applicants. And in their max price column, need to put in the top option 400,000. That will give you then all of your applicants that are looking for a minimum of 400,000. Obviously at the moment we've only got one, which is fine, but if we want to make this a quick link, each time we add in an applicant that's looking for a minimum of 400,000, they will be added to this quick link. So right click then, and we've got the option to save selection criteria. So the selection name, active sales, minimum 400,000. And then save. You can add notes in there just to clarify what the quick link is for, but I'm just going to press save on that one. Also have the option there to save your selection criteria, which means all negotiators and staff members in your office will be able to use that quick link as well. So if you use that quick link on your dashboard, it will go through onto your homepage pod as well. And if you use it on your right-hand toolbar, it will just be on your right-hand toolbar. So what we're going to think about then next is recapping the valuation process. So booking valuations, sending confirmations, fact-finding, valuation follow-up, and attaching the documents to records. So there are two ways of booking a valuation into the system, from a diary or from a property record. And we do find that most agents prefer to start the process from the diary. So that's what we'll do here. So hovering over diary in the top menu and selecting daily diary. You've got your team in the top. So that's what we configured earlier or edited earlier. So you get into your preferred diary and you right click where you'd like to book the valuation. So against the right time, day and negotiator, and select valuation from the drop down. Now those will be your own appointment types in this drop down here. So at this point you need to check all the appointment details are right. If you weren't able to click on the correct date, time, negotiator, or appointment type from the diary, you can change it here. So the appointment type, the negotiator, and the time as well, and the date. You can also add additional negotiators. If you've got somebody coming with you on your appointment, maybe you've got somebody that you're training up, you can have them sitting in your diary as well. So you could have them going into the diary. You can add any internal notes at this point as well as to whether you valued the property before. Did they say what value they were looking to achieve when you spoke to them on the phone? Is there anyone else booked in to value it, etc.? These notes are really useful for valuers if they don't book their own appointments, as they can be seen from a glance in the diary. You then click on the plus icon to choose the property. Now at this point you can either do a search for it, so if you've done a valuation on this property a while ago, let's say a couple of years ago, it was when you were using Expert Agent, so the property is on the system, you can do a search for it using the wildcard feature. If you don't have it on the system, or if this is a new property, you can select the new property button down at the bottom and add in this property from here. So the department is sales. You do a postcode lookup, and you select which option from the drop down. You give the inquiry source and the inquiry method. This was all covered in the introductory training, but you give the inquiry source and the inquiry method, and then type in the vendor details. Salutation populates for you, and you select which option you wish to use, and then add in email addresses, mobile number, home and work phone. If your vendor lives at a different address, if you click on that one, it will open up the option to do another postcode search for the vendor's address, and you've got the option here to add in a second vendor if you wish to. Mr. and Mrs. though I would add in as one vendor. I would use 2 separate vendors for brother and sister that own a property, cases of divorce or deceased estates or something along those lines. You've then got the features page where you can add in the features. Obviously at this point you might not know a lot of these features, but you can, however, choose some sort of default ones. So, for example, you know that this property is a house and it's detached, and the property age is older, and the location there will say is Widcombe. It will then ask you for things like the asking price and property features, so bedrooms, receptions, bathrooms, the tenure on the property, the essentials, these property features 1. Which you might not know at this point. If you do, you can add them in. If you don't know them, that's absolutely fine. You can add them in at a later date. You've then got these extra data questions that we've added in as an example of what you can be asking at this point to help qualify your properties better when you add them into the system. So we've got the vendor status, finance. So probably didn't ask about finance at this point, or the board status. We did ask them why they were selling though, or why they're contemplating selling is because they are upsizing, and the timescales they're looking for are ASAP. Moving on to the adverts and notes page, you probably won't need this at this point, but if there are any internal notes that you want to add in, you can add them in here, and those will go on the property, or if you want to add any advice to clients at this point as well. Probably won't be using the adverts page at this point, but if you wanted to, you can. You can then just press the save button, and that will create your property and add it onto the appointment. At this point, all I would do is do a right click and save, because we're not quite finished on the appointment yet, but we are saving just so it goes into the diary and nobody can double book me for that time. Okay, it's good practice to offer to add the vendor as an applicant as well onto your mailing list, so that if they are staying in the area, then they can have a look at what properties you have available for them as well. So you've added them into the system as a vendor. You can now add them into the system as an applicant. The easiest way to do this, if they are happy, is click on the property in the appointment form to open up the property. And on the action menu, you've got the housekeeping option. Second from the bottom is applicant records, and create an applicant for vendor 1. This creates your applicant form, and whilst you're still on the phone with them, you'll need to get their match criteria to make sure that you are matching them out to properties that are suitable for them. Now that's booked into the diary, we'll need to think about sending the appointment confirmations, and you need to be on the appointment form to do this. So right click, and you've got the option to create a letter. On the format column, I'm going to click on Word and select there our pre-valuation appointment confirmation. Click on that one and it will open up within Word for me. It opens up in the bottom download bar first of all, but clicking on it will open up the actual document. So then we've got our appointment confirmation letter here. Now you can make any one-off changes to this appointment letter if you need to. If you need to go File, and then Save As and save onto your local hard drive, or you can print it out and send it if it's within time that the post is going to get there, or you can just close down Word. If you did make changes, you need to make sure that you upload your changes here by clicking the select button, and that will take you off onto your local hard drive. If you didn't make any changes, you don't need to do that. You can just press send as email, and that will automatically attach as a PDF attachment onto the email for the vendor. You've got the vendor's email address from the wizard, so you just select vendor from the drop down under recipients. And then press send email. Press OK and then close. At this point, you may also wish to prepare a marketing appraisal form for the valuer to take with you or to take with them, whoever's doing the appointment, to complete. The benefit of doing this is that you can set it up to pull any notes in you've already made, any information you've already put into the property. To create a marketing appraisal form, you need to do it from the valuation, and you need to right click, create a letter, and search for your valuation appointment, marketing valuation form, and do exactly the same as you did with the letter. So that appointment will now be in your diary. Before you go to an appointment, or before the appointment is conducted, it's good practice to look at some comparable property information. Now, you've got two ways of doing this through Expert Agent: by referring to your own property information or using our comparable links on the property form to find comparable information online. Now, clicking into a property, on the Details tab, you've got the option down in the bottom right hand corner to click into one of the comparable sales websites. That will show you the comparable sales for the postcode, as it will pull through the postcode information for you, and you can just print them out and pop them on the back of your MA form to take with you for the appointment. Or you can search on your property grid for your own comparable properties within the system. So selecting Properties Grid from the top menu, and scrolling along to the status of the property and selecting comparable from there. That will show you all properties that you've got in your system that were either withdrawn or they never went through. You did a valuation on them, you were never instructed on them. You can set them as a comparable property in your system, so you can search for them and have sort of two ways of doing those comparables, either the online way or your own property, or using both. You could set up a basic report to print these comparables and take them with you as well. Once you come back from your valuation, then you need to write up your feedback post-valuation. So going into the property, you've got the option to right-click, hover over valuations and select confirm evaluation. Now, as I said, you've got the option to book a valuation from a property as well. So you would add in the property and then book the valuation. So the opposite way around to we did it in the beginning of this video. Or you've got the option to confirm evaluation at this point, and that's confirming the fees and the prices on the property and the price that you would expect to get for it as well. So it's not confirming the appointment. When you click on that, you get your Expert Agent Marketplace, which you can use to order products and services from our third-party partners, or at this point you can just close that down. It will then ask you to set the price prefix and the numerical price on the property, add any internal notes or advice to clients. Now, I'm going to show you where this box will pull through to onto your confirmation letter. So we're just going to type in there some advice to our clients. Really important information that I've spoken to them about regarding marketing and potential price change in about 6 weeks time, maybe, if we've got no bites on the property. So the fee details then, if we put in there 1.5 and put in there 1.5%, it's not going to realise that it is a percentage fee. It's going to think it is a fixed fee because we haven't set the fee type to percentage. So ignore the percentage symbol, okay, because otherwise it will think that it's a fixed fee of £1.50, and it will put VAT on that and charge the commission as £1.80. So you need to set the commission type there to, or the fee type to 1.5 and fixed fee. Or percentage fee rather. Percentage fee then will give you the slightly healthier fee estimate of £5,400. Select the contract type as sole and press save. At this point, you can have templates assigned to actions within Expert Agent. They're called template triggers. And at this point, you might have your valuation confirmation letter set to that save button on confirming evaluation, meaning that when you press that save button, your valuation confirmation letter pops up with your vendor details and all of the relevant details fully merged, ready for you to send. Or you need to do it manually by right-clicking, selecting letters, emails and SMS, create a letter, an email and SMS. You would then go and find your post-valuation confirmation letter, which will pull through all of the relevant information, including that box, which I put that rubbish in there, that gobbledygook, which will pull through onto your letter, and it will have that advice to clients on your letter, and you can then print that out and send it, or you can save it, upload it back into the system and send as an email. You can also set up on letters tasks. So when you send that letter, it's going to automatically task you 2 days later, for example, to chase up the vendor regarding that post-valuation confirmation letter. Okay, this needs to be done by a super user or a member of staff that has template editing rights. It's done from the screen you see when you click the edit option next to a letter in the grid. So when you click that option. So looking at things that you'll need then when you're out of the office, so diary tips and working with your keys. If you are somebody who likes to take a printed copy of your diary with you when you leave the office, be sure to use our designated print diary button so that all of the important information is included in the printout. So in your preferred diary view, the print diary button is an option under the options button. So you select that one, you've got the option down at the bottom to print the diary. The print window opens and you select your date range. If you want to print at a day, you need to select the next or the end date as the next day. Then you select which negotiators' diaries you wish to print and press save. And that will send that to your assigned printer. And that will then open up the print preview. So appointments are listed in time and date order. All right, and the type column states the nature of the appointment. And for viewings, it will confirm whether the viewing is set as confirmed or pending in Expert Agent. The details section shows you all of the property and applicant information, including contact details and other useful information such as key numbers, alarm codes, and any additional information like viewing notes and things like that. So whether all viewings need to be done and accompanied and things like that. So you can see there we've got key number 10 there in the office, and it's a gold key for the bottom lock and silver for the top lock. Click print at the top of the print view preview and it will send it to your printer. Do remember though, however, it isn't essential to print your diary as Expert Agent is web-based and you can log on from any smart device using the internet. You just need to use the internet browser available on the device and go to the web page. If you are somebody, however, that uses Outlook and has your email account linked with your smart device, you may want to consider syncing your Expert Agent diary with Outlook. There is a tick box on your staff profile when accessed through configuration that would need to be ticked for you by your super user, so you will need to get them to tick that for you. And it's a tick box called Sync Diary with Outlook. So you need to make sure, or get your boss or super user to make sure that that is ticked for you. And then in each appointment on the right click action menu, you've got the option to sync with Outlook. So if we open up a viewing, for example, on the action menu, you've got the option there to sync with Outlook. But you have to have that master switch turned on in the back end in configuration. Also, as we touched on when we're looking at your staff profile, you also have the valuation of viewing SMS reminders, and they send to you 20 minutes before each appointment. So do remember those as well. As a negotiator, it is likely that the main thing you'll need to know about keys is what key numbers are for keys that you need to take with your appointments, and you'll need to be able to quickly check a key status for a property if you aren't sure whether it's in the office or not. When we just looked at printing the diary, it's highlighted there that if you print the diary using our print option, the key number, key status, and any notes about the keys will be included, as I showed you that on the print preview. You can also see key details quickly for the property in the appointment by clicking on the down arrow under property details, and we've got that the key is in the office, and it will give you the key details there as well. If you're on the property, it's accessed from the Access tab. So if we open up this property, On the Access tab is where your key details are kept, and this is where you would need to go to reserve a key, mark a key as loaned out, or mark the key as returned once you are returning it. This is also where you will go to record a key handover if you're giving keys to a new tenant or a property purchaser, and all of this you do from this option here. So you've got the option to reserve or loan keys, and then on the key status you've got in office, key loan, key reservation, or key handover. Another way to check your keys is from the key grid, so hovering over properties and selecting keys. You can search for a key by part of the property address or by the key number, or you can show reserved keys, loaned keys and overdue keys as well. Once you've found your key in the key grid, you can then mark it as returned or loan it out from here, as well as doing it from the property. So what we'll look at next then is when you get back to the office. So property quick stats, tasks and messages, right hand toolbar, using your quick links, and the morning meeting tool as well. So the property quick stats section on your dashboard is really useful for when you get back into the office to help you get back up to speed. Whether you've been out on holiday or over a weekend, or because you've been out on a number of appointments. What the statistics section shows you is portal feed statuses, general quick stats, and changed properties. So properties added, properties put on the market, properties marked as under offer, sold, price changed, and all of the lettings equivalents as well. So it's the bottom left-hand corner in your dashboard. There is also a pod on your homepage called Property Statistics. However, we have found this can slow down your homepage as it includes images of properties, so it can take a while to load during busy periods, not only for busy periods for you, but also busy periods for us. You will also get this information in the morning meeting emails about recently changed properties, and we'll be covering this in the morning meeting section of this video. So it's currently showing your own statistics. To show the office statistics, you need to click on that link there. Tasks can be set then from a number of places and can be set by staff members for each other, as well as staff members for themselves as well. Some tasks will be automatic. For example, if an applicant has an invalid email address, the system will task the negotiator who added that person. Or if your letters are automatically set up to trigger tasks, then these will be going onto your homepage as well once you're using those letters. Other tasks will be set up by hand from appointment records or from events tab when something specific needs attention. Not all tasks will necessarily require action. Some are rather FYIs rather than jobs to do. It's still important, however, to be checking your tasks regularly to see if you have any new or outstanding tasks. Now, if you have the task pod on your homepage, your latest tasks will be at the bottom, so you'll need to scroll down to the bottom to get to your latest tasks. You also have the options up at the top, which will give you the options for your own tasks, for today's task, for tomorrow's tasks as well. So to click into a task, you literally just click onto it and that will open up that task event. Notes will be displayed in the notes box, so you can see that this is a task to chase the vendor regarding the particulars that we created for them a couple of days ago. So you see the task section there. So we logged it on the 26th to chase the vendor today regarding the particulars that we sent. We can actually mark this as complete now, and that's used to mark a task as complete when you need no further action on it. If you also need to, you can also upload files at this point as well and then mark it as complete. Tasks can also be accessed from the tools menu in the top option, and you've got your tasks grid from there. The task grid works in the same way as any other grid within Expert Agent, so you will need to set up the columns to make sure you are seeing the correct information. Also on the task 4 drop down, you can see tasks set for other people as well. So you can filter on the tasks in the date order, and if you open up the information panel, you will see a snapshot of the task information there. So this appointment for myself, or this task for myself, is a weekly catch up with my vendor. so I can click into that one and do my weekly catch up with my vendor from there. So when you come back into the office, it's important to check your property stats, your tasks, also to check your messages. Now these could be notifications of replies to support tickets, notifications that brochures you've uploaded have been successfully converted, or messages from colleagues as well. So a lot of agents don't realise that you can use the message system in Expert Agent to send messages through the system. Easiest way to check whether you've got any new messages is to check this icon up at the top. If you've got new messages, you will have that blue dot in the top speech bubble. If you've got no new messages, that top speech bubble won't have anything in it. So clicking on that one will open up your message inbox. And you can see I've got a message there from my colleague Amy. So if I click into that one, so you can see it's from my colleague Amy. She's linked the record to Tom Levitt because she wants me to give him a call. So the title is Please Call, and she's just put in there that he wants to discuss yesterday's viewing when I've got a moment. She doesn't need to say who I've needed to call or give me the number because she's linked the record in the system. So I can click on that one and that will open up my applicant record. You are also able to send new messages from here, so you can send messages to your staff or your colleagues if you need to. And as well as being able to send them from there, you can also send them from a property or from an applicant as well. So if we just go back to this property, right click, we've got the option under letters, emails and SMS to create a quick message. Then you choose who it's going to, and the record will automatically be assigned if you're sending it from a record. Also, another thing to check is the right hand toolbar. So we did look at that earlier on in the video, but if you open that up again, the idea is that when setting up Expert Agent, you put most of your important quick links on the right hand toolbar so you can check them regularly or straight away when returning to the office. Okay, so you might have things like the website registration's not validated set, so when you come back into the office, you can see that if you've got any new website registrations that need validating. You should receive a morning meeting email from us automatically every day, and the morning meeting email looks a little bit like this. So you will have your own logo in the top left-hand corner there. It includes tip of the day, the list of appointments for you and your team, viewings that you need to chase, and you need to get feedback on, property changes, and applicants added as well. You can also access the morning meeting information in a report whenever you need to do it directly from Expert Agent. So hopping back into Expert Agent, go to Tools in the top menu, select from the reporting option the morning meeting. Do be aware though, in your tools and reporting section, your reporting section may not show all of these options. So once you've opened it, then you just filter on the desired date and press generate, and it will give you the same information as that email does. Let's have a think then about managing call lists, so identifying who needs a call, obtaining information for the call, and updating Expert Agent. It is likely that you will need to use a combination of sections within Expert Agent to identify everyone who needs a phone call for whatever reason, and most agents would need to check things like their tasks, quick links and internal messages. Now you can access tasks and quick links from one place, which is your homepage. So we did cover setting up your homepage or managing your homepage earlier on in this video. You can also access your right hand toolbar from your homepage. So should you need to, or should you prefer to use that for your quick links, you can access it from your homepage as well. So obtaining information for the call via tasks on your homepage. As I said, your latest tasks will go at the bottom of your task pod, so you need to click into them from there. So this one is to chase up the vendor regarding the particulars, so you can put in here some notes regarding that call, so you called them. So we can say here, for example, spoke to vendor, loves the brochure, very happy with it all, wants us to market the property and get going ASAP. Okay, the task itself is set here and you can then mark that as complete if you wish to. I'm just going to save that quickly before I then mark it as complete. So that task has now been done. So we looked at internal messages a minute ago, but obviously you can access your internal messages to check whether you've got anybody to call once you get back into the office, or if you've got any messages from anybody else. So even if you don't have any new messages, they will be accessible from the top option, that little message icon. Also as well from the tools option and selecting messages. So we had that message from Amy to call Tom regarding our viewing yesterday with him. So clicking into the record will open up Tom Levitt, and we can then mark on the events tab by adding a new event that we've spoken to them regarding the viewing. It is likely that from your homepage you will be able to see quick links from two different places, so the quick links pod on your homepage, also the right hand toolbar. Using quick links is the same regardless of where they are displayed. In this example, we are going to look at office next contact due today. So we have one applicant on that due call list today. Clicking on that link will take you to a pre-filter grid of all of your applicants that are due a call. So in the information, if you had more here, you can show the information by scrolling through the applicants, and that will show in the information panel. You also have the show recent events option as well, which will open up and show you all recent events, any matches, any notes you've added in, any viewings they've done and things like that. If you still need to see additional information, you can click into the applicant form from there as well. So going back to my task grid then, let's have a look at this conversation task, and it's my weekly catch up with my vendor. So I can check this and put any notes in here. Okay, so the catch up with the vendor went well. He's very happy with us, how things are progressing and the number of viewings we've conducted. So everything's happy, everyone's happy. What we can do now is update the contact dates. So we last contacted the vendor today, and so the next contact due date projects for a week in advance. That will then flag up for you on next contact due again today as well if you need it to. You can also then again set it as a further task for anybody. Got the option to just save it and you're putting that task forward again to keep the weekly catch up going with your vendor, or you can mark it as complete, and if you've got that weekly catch up with your vendor anyway, it will flag up that this next contact is due on the 5th of September regardless of whether you've got this task set or not. So you can be using tasks, you can be using quick links, you can be using a mixture of both of who you need to call. So talking about internal messages again, if you click into a record from your internal message, it would be on and from the record itself that you would add notes and update the relevant dates. The best way to do this is to right click on the record and select last contact. This will open up a new note that goes onto the events tab with the option to update update contact dates ticked, and it will then give you the option of projecting when you want the next contact date. Okay, so we don't want it tomorrow, so we're going to set it for, we'll set it for Wednesday. You just simply add your notes in, set any tasks if necessary, add any files if you need to, and then right click. Add any files if you need to, and then save. And that will close for you, and it will go on the events tab of the applicant. So that's updating individual forms and next contact, but depending on how much information you need to put on those events there, you can actually update from a number of records at the same time from doing it from a grid. So if we click into the applicant's grid, So on the applicant grid, you would just need to ensure that you have the correct records of who you've been talking to ticked. So the ones ticked are the ones that you are going to update the contact details on. Right click on the grid and you've got the option to update last contact. Now you would only do this from a grid if you have spoken to all of them today, because when you're updating the contact here, all notes that you put will be exactly the same on each of these contacts. So you might want to say in this notes box, for example, did mass call out all applicants happy, or all applicants still looking, for example. Okay, so you are updating every single applicant that you have ticked on that grid. So we unticked 4, so we're updating 9 applicants at one time. Okay, will then give us the next contact date here as well, which will mean that those 9 applicants that we've updated will go on the next contact date, or next contact due today on the 5th of September. They will flag up for us. All right, if a task is relevant at this point, you can set a task and then press save, and that will update those 9 applicants with the next contact. Also, as previously discussed and shown, you can update Expert Agent from a form. So you right click on the form and select last contact. So that's all of it from that video. We do have the final test details for you. So if you can go to www.expertagent.co.uk/training, select the Expert Negotiator training and click to start the test. Click Start New Test, complete the registration form, read the instructions and complete the test. Now these tests are important to do as they do go on your staff profile, so your boss or your super user can see your results. So please do have a go at these tests. They are really, really useful to do. They will recap certain important bits that we think that you need to remember, and they will also show where potentially you might need further training as well. So please do, as I said, have a go at these ones. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really do hope you use it to help you use Expert Agent to its fullest and that you found it beneficial.